What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host, for another week of that hot fire that I'm serving up on Thursday mornings. Some shit to talk about this week. First thing is first, I have got back into the third season of Handmaid's Tale with my wife, and it is bananas. It's on Hulu. I've mentioned it numerous times on here, and I just cannot say enough about it. It's a fucking insane show. I really think that, I don't know, it's, kind of scary because, some parts of it you're like, do people really think like this? I don't know. It's fucking weird. But anyway, sorry I had to cough, but Handmaid's Tale, super good. Don't sleep on it. The Irishman, the trailer, the new Martin Scorsese movie, Scorsese, however the fuck you want to call him, say his name at least. The trailer came out. It has Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and the GOAT is back, Joe Pesci. Realistically, Joe Pesci might be one of the hardest actors out. You got Home Alone, My Cousin Vinny. You got, Casino, Goodfellas. You got, what else do you got? You got all kinds of shit. What's the last thing he's been in? You ever see The Super? Has anyone out there ever seen The Super? One of the most underrated Joe Pesci movies of all time. I don't know the whole story of where he went. He was running hard for a while with these movies, and then he kind of just ghosted. And if you have all the money in the world, which, he probably got a good bit, why wouldn't you peace out? But there's a new movie, Netflix original by Martin Scorsese, I don't know how to fucking say it, but it's the same dude who does, Casino, Goodfellas, all kinds of great films. And I think they said it's been 11 years since he's done a film. And the preview just came out, and it looks bananas. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, it's going to be in that same vein. And, there's some people that have mixed reviews about what the trailer looked like. What more can you want? What more can you want? These guys are old as dirt. Give them a break. I can't wait. It said fall, it's coming fall. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Anyway, so next topic of discussion that I wanted to bring it up. We went to Picklesburg this weekend. I honestly thought that I was going to hate it from the beginning because I don't like going to a bunch of crazy packed areas. But Picklesburg is on the Roberto Clemente Bridge. And why the fuck is it on there? You got more people going to this thing than half of the events in the city. Maybe it's not more people. Maybe it's just they decided to keep it on a bridge and pack everyone in there like fucking rats. But why have it on a bridge that's closed off with, you're cutting off area with all the vendors as well. What I don't get it. It's dope to be on the bridge and see the, the landscape around it, the architecture, that's sick. It's outside and everything, but bro, take it to Point Park. What is the big deal? Take it to Point Park. Give people a little bit of room where they could walk around. It was I read a comment on Facebook. It was it said, going through Picklesburg is like salmon swimming upstream. And you're kind of makes sense. But anyway, we went down there. I had a pickled watermelon margarita. It was pretty damn good. You got about a Dixie cup full for $7. So that pickle juice, I don't know, I don't know. They were making money down there. That's all I know. You had all kinds of shit. They had fucking pickles the size of, rolling pins filled with cheese. You had pickles that were wrapped in bacon. My wife bought a pickle that was the size of a Coca-Cola bottle that was wrapped in bacon that had cheese stuffed in it. 13 bones. 13 fucking dollars for this pickle. And I'm down here oh, you idiots are just eating a big ass pickle on a stick. for 13 bones. It's like you could buy probably one of them big ass jars from Giant Eagle or Costco, $4, $5 probably. But I don't know. It was all right. It's cool to go down there in the city. You know, friends were down there. It was a beautiful night. We ended up getting to chill, and it was a good time. But yeah, Picklesburg. Last order of business before we get to this week's guest. Yoga Ralph is conducting Sunday service this week at Yoga Flow in Shadyside. 2 p.m. You got that $5 cash money drop-in yoga class. This is hot vinyasa. So it's been hot as fuck outside in Pittsburgh. You know, we had that last week where it was raining and it was nice and cool, and you were like, oh, that's nice. That's like fall weather. You know, might even be able to wear some jeans and a long sleeve without sweating your ass off. But make no mistake, if you go to this yoga, you are going to sweat your sins away. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's the hottest. I mean, you're just basically sitting in a sauna, wringing out your liver. And Yoga Ralph does it in such a way that people should experience it. Follow him on Instagram at Yoga Ralph and see a lot of his dope artwork that him and the mastermind Dirty Bird come up with. And now for the reason that everyone is here. This week I have a very, very talented guest. Her name is Anna. Anna is, I mean, she has so many hats. She is a cook. She's a food stylist. She's an artist. She is a potter. She is a coffee enthusiast. She is a retired emo kid. Maybe she's not retired. Maybe she's just like in hibernation, like the emo. The emo is still there, but it's just waiting to come out eventually. But I brought Anna in because, you know, like I talk about it in the beginning of the podcast. Comedians like refer to like the people they come up with in classes, you know, like kind of like in high school. You know, this is our class, this is our group of people. And I feel like the people that started around the same time that I did, you know, I feel like that those are people that are like in like our class of school, you know what I mean? Like we started around the same time. I've watched her shit grow crazy. You know, my shit has grown, and I was pumped to talk to her. She runs a artist page called Calabazaaa Co, at CALABAZAACO. You can go on Instagram. She got a lot of dope ass stickers on there, watercolor paintings, all kinds of shit like that. She got pottery on there, and I mean, she's just super talented, like anything she does. But for her day job, she is a food stylist. So a food stylist is someone that makes your food look pretty. But I didn't know like exactly what her history was of all of it. I just thought that, you know, she kind of fell into all this shit, but I was wrong. She has been into food forever. She's wanted to work with food since she was very young. She went to culinary school, and she got a really cool story. It's like, it's different. Went to culinary school, traveled down to Florida, worked at a rich person, whatever you would call them, like a closed off, I don't know, like a gated, like a rich person community or some shit, maybe. She said there was like their own fire station, their own hospital. That's some weird, crazy, governor type shit from The Walking Dead. But, you know, if you think about it, like whenever like anarchy comes, I feel like those are the places that people are going to like run to first and like kind of pillage, because like, you know, the closed off community, someone's just going to make that a fucking fortress. But she does awesome shit. I was excited to bring her in and talk to her and kind of hear like her experience of it all. You know, like I experience my shit in a certain way. You know, I have my own problems. I have my own things to worry about. And to try to manage like your passion projects on the side is like a crazy undertaking. And Anna, I mean, she just started making her own hot sauce, Bazaaa Sauce. And I mean, we talk about all this stuff. She brought over a couple jars of pickles for me, dope ass Beetlejuice stickers. We talk about her Etsy that she started. I think she started in January. But like I said, it's Calabazaaa Co. CALABAZAACO. Co, and she's just been killing it. You know, she got all kinds of dope shit on there, and her boyfriend RJ, he is also an extremely talented artist who draws a lot of dope shit, and they just make awesome stuff. And I like awesome stuff. I have a lot of her work around my house, and I was pumped to talk to her. So without further ado, episode 81 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Anna Calabrese, the creator of Bazaaa Sauce and Calabazaaa Co.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. I'll call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. Is that cool where your eyes are? Like, are you like,
Yeah.
are you like comfortable how that is?
Yeah, I'm good. Is this okay?
Yeah, everything's
Okay.
fine. Some people just like, I don't know, they're just like particular how things are.
No, we're good.
But the cheese guy from Penn Mac, he was like nervous whenever he first came in. He said he's just like, you know, some people that just don't talk about themselves a lot.
Yeah, it
like-
can be hard.
Yeah, it's real weird. Like Justin Boyd, he's a photographer. Like photographers, like they're just behind the camera. They don't usually talk about themselves. So
Yeah,
he was
for
like
sure.
nervous about doing it, but everything usually pans out.
Yeah.
So all right, I wanted to talk to you about a bunch of different shit. Mm-hmm. I feel like so the way I was thinking about this today, whenever I was driving home, is like comedians always talk about and reference like classes that they have came up with. So like Jerry Seinfeld the other day was talking about how he came up with like, you know, like Eddie Murphy. I think they started at the exact same week at the Comedy Store or whatever. But like people in the city, I feel like we have our own classes. So like there's people that are like doing shit that are like in our, I don't know, it's not similar, but like you're making all this shit, you know, like there's other people making all this shit. I'm trying to make all kinds of shit. So I feel like that's like a very, very like relative, I don't know, point to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you're doing like a bunch of different shit. Like you started out. So what was like your first like entrepreneurial type move? Was it the stickers?
So I think it was the watercolor paintings.
Oh
to
yeah, that was
begin.
before the stickers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then it slowly like faded into stickers and watercolors, and then I just started doing the stickers.
Now, I mean, I thought that you were kind of just like whenever I first bought them pictures, I was like I didn't really know what you were all about. Like I thought you were just like an artist, but then like you were like, oh yeah, I went to school for like cooking and shit.
Yeah.
So like, where did you go to school at?
So I went to IUP for their culinary program.
Did you?
Yeah, it was just a year-long program. But yeah. And then
Culinary school.
Yeah.
You always wanted to cook?
Always. Yeah.
How did that even come about?
I don't know. I always had an interest in it, and I always watched my mom cook whenever I was younger. Like, I would always be in the kitchen just, like, sitting there watching her make dinner.
Yeah.
And then when I got old enough, I kind of started experimenting with different things. And then I kind of was more interested in baking at the time. I would always do, like, banana muffins and different things like that. And then I decided to go to culinary school. I went to like a vo-tech school in high school.
For cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is like, I don't know. I guess it looked good to get into culinary school. But it was kind of like a joke.
So what was it? Like you would go to school half a day and then go there?
Yeah.
And it was basically like you would learn the same type of shit you would learn in school, like culinary school?
Pretty much, yeah. And it was more like bookwork, and then we kind of had like an hour in the kitchen. But it was pretty much just kids that like wanted a reason to get out of regular classes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought it was kind of like
I remember
whatever.
seeing people like from at our football practice would show up like 20 minutes late because they were coming back from like Steel Center. That was like our Votech, but it was I was just like, what the fuck is all that about? And I guess they just go over there and like welding. There's fucking like cars, like all kinds of random ass shit. So,
Yeah.
but I feel like we were never told about that in high school. Like for me, like I never knew that was like really an option. I just knew of kids that went there and did that. But like I didn't know kind of like how you got in that like vein. When did you start that?
So I think you can go there for, I think it's like 2 years, your junior and senior year. You can have that. But I just did it my senior year, and then they kind of let me smush both years into one because I started late.
All right. Now, when did you decide that you wanted to be in the food industry? Like even whenever you were younger, you knew you wanted to?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got my first cookbook, I think, when I was in like maybe 5th grade.
Oh, so
and it
like
was
that?
Rachel Ray's cookbook.
Really?
And I just like loved watching her 30-minute meals on Food Network.
I love her.
Yeah, I mean,
I think she's great.
she's good. And I think as a little kid, I just kind of like looked up to her, I guess.
She's probably way easier to like imprint on than like a what the hell's the dude whose name who just yells at people? Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay.
You know, like those shows are cool, but
Yeah.
he's like, you fucking made it wrong, and like I feel like people wouldn't be like real welcoming. I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
But I remember watching like Julia Child stuff a little bit, and
Yeah.
like the stuff that was on like PBS and everything.
Yeah.
Like I liked all that stuff. Cooking was definitely fun. I kind of got into it early because like my parents were working.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would work like since like 4th grade. I feel like I've been on my own, and I would just come home and start messing around with all that shit. But your mom was cool with it all. Like just she was like down for it all.
Yeah. Yeah, she kind of just like, as I got older, let me kind of do some things. And I remember one time, the first time I used a mandolin, she was like, be careful because you
What's
can...
that?
It's like a tool that you slice things on.
Oh yeah, it's like a lap and you like slice it on there.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
yeah.
like, be careful because you can really cut yourself the first swipe. I like cut my pinky, and I was like, okay.
Wow.
But-
yeah. That shit's dangerous though. That's
Yeah, for sure.
so whenever you're younger and you're like trying to get into like cooking and like getting more in depth and shit like that, I feel like whenever I was younger and I like wanted to like kind of experiment with cooking, it was kind of like I was kind of like held off a little bit because like you know you're young, you're like around a stove and shit like that.
Yeah.
Did you kind of have free reign of it?
For the most part,
You said your mom cooked a lot.
She
so it's
did.
like
yeah.
she was probably there.
Yeah, she was. And then I know, like, in the summertime, we would always, like, stay up late. And the one thing I always made was, like, French toast. And it was always midnight. We were, like, always making French toast for some reason.
That's awesome.
And then, like, the first dish I ever made was, like, something my dad always made us growing up. And we
Yeah.
called it wieners and eggs.
Eggs with hot dogs?
Yes.
Yeah. I swear that's what I started with.
Yeah, it's... and he, like, put, like, Italian seasoning on it and...
Just make it like look good.
Yeah, for sure. But that was the first thing I ever made.
My Uncle Rob made that all the time whenever I was younger, and he made it. Like my parents never made that, but I remember going over there.
It's
That
so
was like
good.
that was the big deal. It's like in the morning, hot dogs and eggs, and
It's
you're
so
just
good.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good time. Mm-hmm. Now, how so? I mean, like whenever you're younger, do you remember ever having like an idea of exactly like what you wanted to do? Like not just like be a cook, but like did you like narrow it down into like a subcategory?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. It was sort of, I don't know, a weird thought process for me, I guess, because I really love to cook and I love to eat.
Yeah.
And
Same.
I had an interest in art too. And it was like, well, what can I kind of do
To make money off of it.
Yeah. And I heard of food styling, and I was like, okay, let's look into this.
And what is it?
So it's pretty much you just, like, make food look pretty for photos.
Like plating food.
Yeah, like the
nicely.
presentation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
For the layman terms out there.
yes, making it look pretty. And I was like, that sounds perfect. Like, it's art and food mixed together. So then from like my senior project in high school, you had to like pick a career that you were interested in.
Yeah.
And I picked food styling, and I got to shadow a food stylist. for the project. And then after that, she like hired me as an assistant part-time.
Oh, really?
And so I was working with her like throughout high school and in the summer and stuff like that. And there's only 3 in Pittsburgh right now.
There's 3 food stylists?
Food stylists. Yeah, there aren't many here. So I got really lucky to be able to work with her at such a young age.
And this was while you were a senior?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was like a thing that you could be like a food stylist.
A lot of people don't even know what it is, really.
Yeah, like whenever you said that, whenever I asked you before, you were like, "Oh, I'm doing this like food styling," and I was like, "What could that be?" But then I figured it had to be like plating and like how it looks good, because now I feel like, in the last like couple years we start to see like, this crazy saturation of like food photography. Mm-hmm. It's like I feel like that there's a tripod of like photography. There's like portrait photography, like kind of like the keep Pittsburgh dope, and then there's like the concert photography that you see a lot of people doing, and then you see people doing food photography.
Yeah.
And it's just like I feel like restaurants like in the past few years like never really paid attention to that. Mm-hmm. You think that?
I think a lot of small businesses didn't necessarily pay attention to that, but it's kind of
that makes
more,
sense.
Yeah.
More of the bigger places definitely probably
like
did
corporate
that.
places have been doing it for a long time.
Now I see like even like this kid has a local pizza shop in Elizabeth called Fellini's, and like he like my buddy takes all my pictures, like the coffee pictures and everything. He hired him to take all these like super dope photos of like his wings and like breadsticks and shit. And I was like, damn, like this kid is so smart, because that shit looks so much better than like your typical grainy like droid photo that like people put on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, here's a deal of the day. But it really does, like the presentation makes a difference for sure.
Yeah.
And you've always been into art, you said?
Yeah.
Like ever since you were young?
Yes, for sure.
Because you have like a unique style. Like I like all that shit that you do. It's like, did you start out with like drawing?
Yeah. I remember like as a little girl, my mom would just kind of give us like a giant bin of colored pencils and a stack of paper, and we would just kind of go at it. Yeah. So I think that's kind of where it all started. And then I was always interested in art throughout high school, and I did pottery and different things like that, but I really liked the style of like Alex Pardee. I don't know if you know who that is.
I remember him. He had a lot of shit that was on like MySpace and stuff. I remember all that.
Yes.
I remember that a lot. What were some of his like...
He had like those creatures that were like drippy and...
Yep.
Yeah, and he was like...
It was real emo looking.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
I
like
do
my
remember
favorite
that.
artist in the world.
Wow, I can't believe that. That was on everyone's like on the left side of their MySpace page.
Oh, that was totally me.
I remember that now. I forgot all about him. All the scene girls
yeah.
had that shit everywhere.
I still love him.
Wow. I haven't looked at any of his artwork in a really, really long time.
You should follow him on Instagram. He's super dope.
Yeah, I definitely will do that. Remind me to do that before we'll never remember. But I remember that now just because of the MySpace shit. Mm-hmm. I feel like my love of art appreciated a lot more because of MySpace. Because like I was never real big on Tumblr and shit.
I never was either.
I never understood it, and like I don't understand Reddit really still, and that's like a whole different like world. But MySpace kind of, I always had like the same layout forever. Like I had my sister-in-law now, but she just made me like this one page, and I remember just like always seeing like the people's like Tumblr posts. Like you would see like Jeffree Star with like the vomit cereal. Mm-hmm. And do you ever watch his YouTube?
Yes, sometimes.
Me and Antoinette watch it all the time. I might be his biggest fan. It's like I don't give a shit about
Guilty
makeup.
Pleasure.
I don't care about makeup, but I feel like that he seriously like might be one of the best business models of all time. Regardless of like if you like care about the, a dude dressing like a woman or whatever. Like, you get past that if you want, but, like, he's a fucking genius.
He is.
Always selling shit out, and just, like, he does it right, I feel. Mm-hmm. I like that. I appreciate that about pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
But the Alex Pardee thing, who was the other artist that I remember that was, like, always... I can't remember who it was, but it was, like, another person that was, like, in that same vein. But it was just, like, the MySpace shit. You would always see, like, those side photos, and, like, that's where, like, music started getting ramped up for me. And like, man, that was a big time. We grew
Yeah.
up in a good time.
Yeah. So
Definitely
he
a
was
good
like my
time.
biggest inspiration for art. And I kind of started doing like watercolor and pen and ink because that's kind of what his style looked like.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me experiment with this. And then I kind of just stuck with the watercolor, and I still do use pen and ink. So
Yeah.
yeah.
In high school, like I asked another artist, I think I asked Brian Ganello in here. I was like in high school, do you think that your art classes were like, what's the word? Like as advanced as you would want them to be? Like were they pretty much cool with you trying whatever you want and like doing with whatever you want?
I feel like they could have been more advanced. Like I was in the AP classes, and I still felt like, I don't know. I mean, it pushed you to try different things.
Like the fundamental shit almost.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a sour taste of it because I didn't really like my teacher too much, and like I wasn't good at art. I only wanted to do things that like I was like all right at, like pottery. Like I loved like throwing on a wheel. But
Yeah.
I fucking hated painting and everything, and I felt that it was so dumb that we would be just like writing or drawing like still life photos. Like I hated that.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I hated all that stuff, but like I really feel like that it wasn't like as advanced. I remember trying to do like a movie poster or some shit, and like my teacher like said I wasn't allowed to do it, and it made me like not like the whole process of it all. And then
Yeah.
I started to like get in depth with thinking of like how these teachers could like critique all different kids' artwork. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I remember we had this one project, and we had to do like a portrait, but it was like half of their face.
Yeah.
And like drawing, like I have no interest in drawing people like whatsoever.
Yeah. Draw a nose? No way.
Yeah, so I was like, well, can I do a portrait of E.T.? Because like creatures and like weird things I'm cool with, but like give me a face and I cannot draw it for you.
Yeah, it's definitely bizarre. But like, I don't know. I guess it's whatever. But like after high school, so what was your? Do you have to like submit something and get into culinary school? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Culinary school?
Yeah, you had to apply, and they had to accept you and everything like that. And they only accepted like 100 kids.
Out of like how many you think? Like I don't even know how many people go to culinary school. Like what's in your class?
Like 100.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they only accept 100 per year. And they might do like 110 because they know people are going to drop out like the first week.
Yeah.
And we probably ended up graduating with like a little less than 100. It's
Yeah.
a small class, and it's very...
Is it like lecture type classes?
Yeah, there's lecture, and then there's a lot of like hands-on kitchen time.
Yeah.
Which is why I chose to go there rather than like the Art Institute, because it was kind of set up where you had, I think it was like 2 hours of like lecture in the morning, and then you had your kitchen time in the afternoon, and it kind of conditioned you for like an 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
Kind of in a way, because you were in the kitchen a lot and you did your own dishes, and it's kind of preparing you for the real world.
Like what a whole thing will take, like a whole process of it all.
Yeah, or like what a day would be like at work as a chef or as a cook.
Yeah. Shit has to be crazy. Like
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very interesting field for sure.
Whenever I filled in at Streets, that's the first time like I was ever like in a kitchen while it was like going on, and it was just such like a mind-blowing experience to like hear people fucking yelling at each other and like trying to balance like the times of the different meals and like people like making sauces and not letting shit burn. And it's pretty wild to think about. Like that was only, I think their cap is like 50 people. It makes me think like what is like Cheesecake Factory and those places that have like hundreds of seats. It got to be insane back there.
Yeah, there's like such a difference between, I mean, it's like, I don't know, two types of cooking in a way. Like the Cheesecake Factory is like a whole different ball game than, you know, Streets or whatever.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
like-
it's fun.
Like now, whenever you were in school, were you like I didn't give a shit about college at first because like I felt like I didn't like care about it. Mm-hmm. Did you automatically like you were like ready to work and like do your shit and get it done?
Yeah. I knew that I couldn't, like, I don't even consider like culinary school being like a college, but I guess technically it is. But
technically,
I couldn't see myself going to like normal college. Yeah,
normal people's school. It sucks. It does.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like perfect for me, I guess. And then right out of culinary school, you had to do like a 6-month externship.
What did you do?
I went to Florida to cook.
Yeah?
Yeah. You had to finish 600 hours to officially graduate. And they had like an interview process where different restaurants or resorts or whatever came and like interviewed the students. And then if, they accept you, then you get to choose where you want to go and you get to pick 3 places to interview with.
Wow.
So I picked one in North Carolina, then I picked Nemacolin, which is close to here, and then I picked a resort in Key Largo, Florida. And I decided to go to Key Largo because why not?
Yeah, why not go down there? And it was 6 months, you said?
Yeah.
Wow, that's not bad at all to live down there.
It was fun, yeah. And then you had to do like 2 reports during your time there, just kind of like an overview of your experience. And then once that was over, I decided to stay full time, and I ended up being there for like 2.5 years.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Jesus. Like so resort, was this like an all-inclusive type resort?
Yeah, it was called the Ocean Reef Club. It was like its own community. It was kind of crazy. They had like a hospital and
oh, really?
Yeah, a fire department. It was like a blocked off community. You couldn't get in without a card.
Was it like now how do I phrase it? Was it like for like wealthy people?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that makes sense. Now for that, I feel like that would be interesting to do. So how many people are you like preparing food for at any time?
So they had, I think, 11 different food locations on the resort. So they had like kind of like fast food places near the pools, and then they had a fine dining restaurant, a banquet kitchen that did events or like at-home catering for events. So whenever I first got there, I was in their banquet kitchen doing catering stuff. So we did weddings, and then we would go to like private houses and do private parties, and it was very interesting. It was a cool experience, but I don't know. It like working for those type of, I don't know. I don't want to say like those type of people, but
you're all fucking assholes. Those type of people.
It's just different.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be like a higher standard, and it's probably like walking on eggshells. Like,
yeah, for sure.
They're paying all this money to live there, so everything got to be perfect. And
yeah, and you're like going into someone's house, and it's uncomfortable, and
I feel like you're getting looked at all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, working for like weddings and shit like that, like how crazy is that, like making surpluses of food?
It's a lot because, there's buffets or there's plated dinners, and it was like an assembly line. Like if you had, 3 options for a plated dinner, you would have like 6 people in line with plates, and like one person's putting carrots, one person's putting the protein, one person's putting sauce. So it's just like boom, 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 like all the way down the line. And like that type of cooking is so different than in a restaurant. It's like insane.
You like making mass quantities of the same thing?
Yeah, and like you have to consider like whenever you're cooking it, it's going to be sitting in a hot box for, who knows how long, maybe 2 hours or...
That's a good point. It probably like makes it softer and shit.
Right. So you kind of want to undercook it so by the time you're plating it, it's okay.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was different. And
I never thought of that.
Yeah, and then after I went to the catering kitchen, I moved to the fine dining restaurant, which was like great. I loved it.
Really?
It was a lot of fun.
What is it like aluminum domes and shit like that? Like that type stuff?
So yeah, we did actually have those.
Oh.
But it was fun because it was a really small kitchen. There was only 4 of us, and it was closed 2 days a week. So there wasn't any crossover of like employees on your station. It was just
okay.
like yours. And
like, what is your position while you're there? Like what is your position?
yeah, so it was kind of like a steakhouse, sort of.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of had like the steakhouse style menu where you like picked your protein and what cut you wanted, and then your sides came like separate.
Yeah.
But I was doing seafood.
Oh, really?
So I cooked a lot of seafood.
Now, is that different? Like having to cook, like, I mean, I hate cooking fish. Like, I'll pretty much cook whatever.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate cooking fish, and I hate cooking. I've never cooked crab legs myself, I don't think. I imagine they'd be kind of all right. Not too bad to cook, but like if I buy a big-ass piece of salmon and put it on the grill, I hate it because like I feel like I always mess it up.
Yeah. I don't like grilling fish. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think you need to like sear it in like a super hot pan for it to like be okay.
Yeah, like the outside of it or something.
Yeah.
And leave the inside. Like, yeah, that makes sense. I always get worried because like I feel like I'm gonna put the heat up too high on the grill, and I'll put it on and I'll hear it start to like sear, and I'm just like, oh, it's gonna fucking burn. But then I like try to flip it, and then it just disintegrates because I don't wait long enough. Mm-hmm. And the same way with burgers too. It's like,
you need that high heat. Like the higher the heat, it won't stick as much to your grill or your pan.
For years, never was just. I was like, oh, I can't let it burn on one side.
Yeah.
But then like, you watch a couple of things on Netflix, and they're like, wait a little bit, and it'll hold together. Mm-hmm. It changes your life. But I don't know. I think it would be interesting to be in there to like see all these different like parts of the world. Like if you're making all these things for weddings, I feel like I was talking to the Matt from Streets. I feel like that would kind of condition you on like how to cook all these things. Like if you're cooking like 100 orders of fucking roasted carrots, like you're gonna know how to do roasted carrots.
Yeah, it did.
And that's pretty interesting. Did you ever have bad experiences down there? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm sure we did.
Yeah, I feel like it would have to be like you ever drop anything?
Oh, yeah. Whenever you drop something and it's like the last of it, and it's just... Or the biggest issue with weddings was, like, they'll ask you if there's a vegetarian or whatever, and say that there's 3. Then you prepare for, like, 5 maybe.
Yeah.
And then the person next to that person sees the vegetarian option, and they're like, oh, wait, I want that. And then you don't have enough of it because you prep everything at the kitchen, and then you're at the spot for the wedding, so it's like, well, now what?
That would be the worst.
Yeah.
Now, and you were down there for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Now, you worked in all these different places?
No, just the 2.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.5 years in the catering kitchen, and then about a year at the fine dining.
Do you know of any, first of all, how do you eat a steak?
Like what temperature?
Yeah. Like how do you eat it yourself?
I like it medium.
I feel like that's a general answer, medium.
Yeah.
Now, is it scoffed at by chefs whenever people are like, kind of like well done?
Yeah, I think so.
The only reason I asked that is I saw a meme today that was like the temperatures of cooking, and where it said well done, it was like unfriend or block or whatever. And I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know why I brought it up. That's what I thought about, though.
Yeah, I think well done is kind of like, well, what's the point of even like getting it? Because it's so tough and kind of grainy. And
I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever ordered a steak in my entire life whenever I went out to eat.
Really?
I'm just not really like a steak guy.
I'm not huge on them. I have to really be in the mood.
Yeah, got to be like in the mood or something. But if I have one here, I'll have it. But like, I don't know. I'm like weird sometimes about food. Like I've been getting real weird about chicken wings. Like thinking about like chicken wings and how like kind of fucked up it is.
Yeah.
It's like if I eat 20 wingdings, it's like I'm committing like genocide on a whole world of chickens, I feel.
Yeah. Which is funny because that's all that we eat.
Yeah, it's like people are like, let's go to fucking wing night. And you're like,
my gosh,
how many chickens died to just have one wing night?
Yeah.
And you're like, I ate at least 15 flats.
Yeah.
That's at least 7 chickens, right?
Yeah, it's
I don't
crazy
know.
to think about.
It is crazy.
The one time RJ was like, I think it was RJ that was saying this, if you could like get chickens to grow like 3 sets of wings and like
genetically modify chickens so you can get more out of them.
Super healthy.
Okay, so before I get too far into it, I do an opening segment. It's called What's in the Cup.
What's in the cup?
So what's in your cup?
This is your coffee.
This is my coffee. This is a shameless plug.
I asked for it though.
I know you did. That's honest. This is the first time I made it. Oh, Antoinette made it cold. I think she said she made a double batch of it and then just put it in the fridge. We tried to make it out of we made it out of a French press a few times and just like let it sit overnight at room temperature. And I definitely don't like it as much. I'm kind of weird with like cold brews and like certain coffees like that. I feel like they just taste weird a lot of the times.
Yeah.
I don't like the acidic taste that comes out of it that I feel like does. But I don't know. I don't know too much about it. So, I mean, you, like I said whenever we started this, you have all these different like lanes of things that I want to talk about. So you have like a coffee lane, you have an art lane, and a food lane. So after this 2.5 years of working there, what was your plans? Like, did you have plans of coming back up here? Did you think you were staying down there?
I didn't want to stay down there anymore.
Why? What was the negative?
I hated the heat.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't even know why you would go down there for longer than that.
Like, you know, winter there was beautiful.
Yeah.
But summers were miserable, and then working in hot kitchens on top of that.
Oh, I didn't
is
think
like
about that.
Hell,
Yeah.
literally. And then the bugs were awful, and I missed my family, honestly.
Yeah.
So I decided to move back.
While you said that though, now no kitchens have AC in them, right?
They usually do. Some of them do. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess
because
it
the
doesn't.
equipment's so hot and you're right in front of it, so you.
For some reason, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, maybe no kitchens have AC just because like you don't want the food to get cold. But I don't know. That doesn't.
I
make any
mean,
difference.
I'm sure some do, but there's like heat lamps and stuff
Yeah.
goes out so quickly that I'm sure it's not even a thought for some.
Makes sense. So you moved back up here, and like, what did you have planned?
Yeah. So I moved back, and I don't even think I had a job before I moved back, like set up, which is kind of silly now
That's
that I
all
think
right.
about it. But I started working at Legume in Oakland.
What's that?
It's a restaurant. They do like everything's local.
Like legumes, like beans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's called Legume, like the restaurant.
Like Mr. Copperfield's legumes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always try to throw our offense references in and see who picks them up.
Yes. The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
That's
one of
good.
my favorites. But I was only at Legume for a little less than a year, and then.
Were you a chef there? Like.
No, I was just on like the cold station, which is garde-manger, like salads and
stuff.
desserts. Yeah.
I knew what that was actually. Garde-manger.
Garde-manger.
Shout
Fancy.
out to Matt at Streets.
And then after that, I went to Grit and Grace. It was downtown. It's now a BRGR.
Oh, okay. Grit and Grace.
Yeah, it was like a Asian American fusion type place.
Oh, okay.
And then it ended up not being super successful, so they renamed it to G&G Noodle Bar. It's right near Market Square. Do you know where the BRGR is down there now?
No.
Okay.
I know where just Market Square is.
It's like right there.
Yeah. Legumes. I've never heard of that either.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many restaurants I've never heard about. Like someone told me about this place called Dianoia's the other day.
Oh, so good.
You've been there? Mm-hmm. I looked it up and I was like, where have I been with that? And then it's like a pizza place and
Italian.
yeah, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah,
there's
super
so
good.
many places. But so you worked there and like now, was it in school? Were you getting taught like all different types of food, like French, Asian, like everything like that?
No, it was pretty much the basics. Like our classes were kind of divided up into like soups, stocks, and sauces was like one class. And then we had
Wow.
poultry, game, and fowl as another class. And then we had garde-manger as another class. And it was like, if I'm remembering correctly, each class was like a week long. So it was like a ton of information like jammed into a week. But it pretty much gave you basics of everything. Yeah.
If you're a vegan or a vegetarian and you go to culinary school, do you have to go through the game portion of it? I would assume so.
You would
right?
have to. Yeah, you probably. I mean, you don't have to eat anything.
Yeah,
but you would have to go through it. Yeah.
You think people get turned away from that?
I never thought about that. I'm sure.
Got to be weird. Some people won't even touch a fucking dish.
Yeah,
if there was some meat on there.
Yeah.
It's weird. I guess it ain't weird. I mean, we just had Chick-fil-A. Them chickens are getting fucking whipped with car antennas and shit, and it's terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I never really thought about that either, but that's cool that so like stocks. Now, I've been thinking about this. There's a girl that I follow. She was actually on the podcast, the funeral director, Sarah. She just started making all these crazy soups. And I started, I just see them on Instagram, and I think about, I've never made a soup. I've made chili. I've made all kinds of shit like that. But I feel like, I just don't, I didn't know too much about, how you make, a base of it all. That's cool. You get, a whole class to, teach the science behind it all.
Mm-hmm. And soup is actually my, all-time favorite thing in the world to
is it?
cook. Yeah.
Well, that was my next question. Is, what did you like most? I feel like I would like... Did you learn how to butcher? Is that what that game was and everything? See, I feel like I would love that, even though it would be kind of weird. I feel like it would be super interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it, and it did touch on, everything. So you had, a great base to, pursue your career.
What about the garde manger? Did you have to cut, intricate vegetables and shit?
Yeah, and they graded you on your knife cuts, on all
that's
of
what Matt
that.
was saying. He was like, I had to cut all kinds of carrots one time, and I was like, damn, that has to be... Because, I'll try... My father cuts everything so symmetrical. If he makes a soup or a chili or anything, every piece is just, a perfect size. And I never cared about that. And now I try to care about that. Mm-hmm. And, you talk to people on these podcasts, and, things get brought up that you never think about, and the whole process of cutting vegetables, and how much of a pain in the ass that is.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just wild to think about.
It is, but it's important because if they're not all even, then they don't cook evenly, and
yeah, I never even thought about that. It's
yeah.
If it's visual or not, but I guess being the right size has to be. Maybe that's why I cut chicken up into big ass chunks. Sometimes it's not all cooked the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yep.
Well, more you know. Okay, so what was after that? Where'd you go work after that?
Yeah, after Legume, it was Grit and Grace, and then after Grit and Grace, I ended up going to Spork.
Spork.
Yeah, in Garfield. It's near Time Bomb.
Never heard of that either.
It's a block away.
What kind of place is that?
At the time, they were trying to do, I guess they still do, smaller plates. So you kind of get multiple.
Get a bunch and share.
Yeah.
Oh.
They did a lot of pastas, and I love their food. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And they have their own charcuterie program, and
oh, I like that.
Downstairs is
Did they teach you about cheese in?
Yeah, we had
culinary
identification classes and we touched on wines and product identification on a lot of things.
What about as far as getting into produce selection?
Yeah.
I find myself Googling things at Giant Eagle, what makes the best lemon, what to look for whenever you look for a lemon, or what to look for to pick a good honeydew melon.
Yeah.
And I just look like a fucking idiot over there because I'm lifting them up and trying to feel them and hitting on the
There's
cantaloupes.
tricks for everything.
Yeah, it's why not look it up?
Yeah, I was at the store the other day and RJ was with me and I was picking out a pineapple.
Yeah.
And I was sniffing the bottoms of them and
Is it supposed to smell sweet, right?
Yeah. And he was like, why are you doing that? And I was like, because you have to smell it to see if it's a good one.
Yeah.
And then I was like, here, smell this one and then smell this one. And he was like, oh, okay.
So, that's think of how bizarre that is if you have no idea of it at all.
Yeah.
It's smell this vegetable, smell the bottom of it, and if it smells a little sweet, then it'll be all right.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the official or proper way of doing it, but
Works.
That's how I do it.
It's like, what was the thing? Like if they spin, like I remember, like my grandma told me that if you spin an egg, it'll tell you if it's bad or not. If it spins fast, or if it's hard boiled or not. If it spins slow, it's not hard boiled, and if it spins fast, it's hard boiled.
I never heard that one, but there's so many tricks of like seeing if an egg is bad. There's like, I saw a photo and it's like, if it's floating, it's good. If it's sinking, it's not. There's something like that, but I don't know it.
I feel like I've seen that meme too. Memes are wild nowadays. You learn
They
so
are.
much wild shit
You
off of
do.
the internet. For instance, that meat, like the meat of like who you
Yeah.
should be friends with and who you shouldn't be. But now, whenever you're like, so if you're working in all this food, are you still like practicing art?
For a while, I wasn't. No. Whenever I was a line cook, I honestly didn't really do much art. I did pottery for a while, but other than that, I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And then once I started working for Tazadoro, I had more time on my hands, and I kind of got back into like the whole watercolor thing. And then, yeah.
Now, after you got done with Spork, is that whenever you got into like Tazadoro, or is there still some
No,
time?
then there's more.
Okay, go ahead.
After Spork, I went to Spoon.
Spork Spoon.
Yes, now I've got to go to
Knife.
Fork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Everyone
Spoon?
says that. Spoon's in East Liberty.
I've never heard of any of these places.
Yeah, so Spoon, BRGR.
I know that.
Yeah,
that
and
place.
Grit and Grace, they're like a restaurant group.
Oh, okay.
Well, Grit and Grace is no longer, but they were all a restaurant group. And yeah, after Spork, I went to Spoon, and I was a line cook there.
What's that like, being a line cook?
It's fun. It's like very satisfying because it's like everyone says that being in the kitchen is like organized chaos.
Yeah. He described it as a symphony. And I thought that was such like a wild way to describe it, because like everyone has their own part, and if it's not moving, you'll be able to tell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If someone's off, the whole team is off.
It's just such like a bizarre thing to me to like think about, like how there's like a 10-person party comes in, a 4-person party, and a 3-person party. Everyone orders the same time. You're like, what the fuck do I have to cook first? What needs to come out at the same time so it's not cold and these people bitch at me?
Yeah. It's like multitasking.
And then you have these fucking assholes who just get crazy over like there's a brown piece of lettuce or something. You're
Yeah.
like, bro, like it's crazy up there.
Yeah.
I dropped 2 plates of food down the steps and I wanted to die. I'd never been more embarrassed in my entire life, because I was like, it was for a party of like 8 people, and I was like, fuck, like everyone's gonna get their food. There's gonna be 2 plates where they don't have their food. They're going to like back up because they're going to have to make these plates over again,
Yeah.
and then these other tables. And I started to get like that real like hot feeling, and you're just like, fuck. And then
Yeah,
it was like everyone did it.
One little thing will throw the whole thing off.
Yeah, and that's just like, I feel like that's too much pressure for me. So like if you're a line cook, you're just like in this chaos at all times.
Yeah. And I liked it, but it's like really physically and mentally draining. Just because you're constantly busy, and like at the end of the night you're like, yes, I did a good job, and
Yeah.
it's satisfying, but like in that moment you're like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah. I mean, like and being up in that kitchen, just like sitting there and like feeling how hot it is, and like you're just like, God damn it.
Yeah, and you're like working weekends and everyone's out like partying, and
Yeah, that's another thing. Like,
Yeah.
your weekends are like a Sunday and a Monday if you're lucky.
yeah, exactly.
Like, damn. Same thing with like hairdressers. It's like your weekends are different, so like you have to be all right with just working the rest of your life with like, you know, a weird work week.
Yeah, and if people in your life don't have, like, if, you know, your family or your friends, if they're not cooks, then their schedules are opposite of you, because
Yeah.
you're working nights and they get off at 5 and you never get to see them. So,
That's true.
yeah.
Man, you worked at like how many different restaurants, you think?
Here I think it was 4 or 5. And it was fun, and I kind of intentionally did that because I wanted to experience different kitchens because they're all sort of the same, but also very different.
Yeah.
And I wanted to experience a variety of different kitchens.
Different atmospheres and shit.
Yeah.
Like how people run their own thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, now in your experience, I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Are chefs pretty crazy? Like, are chefs kind of nuts?
Yeah, I think you have to be nuts to be a chef.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta be like weird a little bit. Like, have to have something weird going on in your head where you like that. It's almost like you like the adrenaline and you like all that. So you feed off of it.
Yeah, and I feel like kitchens are like kind of the misfits of, I don't even know what, but they're just kind of like, it's like, well, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
And then there's people that, went to culinary school because they have an interest in it. And then there's other people who didn't go to school and they started as a dishwasher and worked their way up. So there's like so many different types of people working together, which is really fun.
Yeah, it's very, it's like there's so much culture in like a kitchen because like you said, some people love it and they do that for a reason. And then there's some people that just kind of fall into it and stay.
Yeah.
They love it, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's nuts. I don't know if I'd be able to be able to handle it all mentally. Yeah,
it was hard, but also fun. And I think that's kind of why whenever I saw the opportunity to work at Tazzadoro, I took it. And I was working at Spoon 3 nights a week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And what's like your hours to work?
At Spoon? Or
I guess that's a broad question. Like generally though, you're working like nights pretty much?
As a cook, yeah.
Yeah.
But not anymore. I don't work nights.
Well, that's good.
Which is awesome.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Enjoy your nights again. I guess I never thought about that either. It's just like restaurants don't open first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, some don't open till 5, and then, on a weekday they'll close at maybe 10, and then
you got to clean up.
Yeah, and then on weekends it's later, so.
Yeah, I guess no one thinks about these things.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Now,
Tazzadoro was a coffee shop in Lawrence or Millville?
Millville. There's still a coffee shop. The Millville location is closed.
There's another one?
There are 3 other ones.
Where are those at?
There's one in Highland Park and then 2 on the CMU campus.
Maybe I didn't know, but that sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
And like, whenever you got hired there, what were you doing? Like, what did you get hired as?
I got hired as a barista, a part-time barista, actually.
Okay.
Because at the time I was still working at Spoon.
Yeah.
And I loved coffee and still love coffee, and I kind of wanted to learn more about it.
You were into coffee early?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
See, I never was. I never liked it at all until she kind of came into it all.
Yeah.
I was like the glass vanilla bean Starbucks from the cooler at Sheetz. And she used to just like look at me like, you pig, like drinking that, like all that sugar. But I kind of fell in love to it a lot more. And like whenever I went to Tazzadoro, that kind of, I swear that got me way, way more into it because I can't remember the dude that I met there.
Zach, probably.
Yeah. And like got to look at all that like weird ass color wheel or the coffee note, flavor note wheel. Mm-hmm. That shit is just insane to me. And it's like, I worked as a barista in high school. But I didn't like coffee, so it was more just like, fucking off a high school job.
Yeah.
And I didn't really learn anything or retain anything about coffee. But I don't know. I guess maybe if I liked it a little bit more, I would enjoy it. Yeah,
and I was a regular at Tazzadoro before I started working there. Yeah. And like I said, I was working at Spoon part-time, and I was like, well, let me get, a part-time job with Tazzadoro, and I can learn more, and it'll be some extra cash or whatever. And so I was only a barista there at the Highland Park location for like a month. And then I ended up taking over their kitchen.
Yeah.
Because the owner, heard about my work experience and was like, do you want to do this? So I kind of like took on that.
Did you enjoy being a barista?
I loved it. Yeah. It was fun. And I think there's a lot more that goes into being a barista than a lot of people think, and they're like, well, this is just pouring coffee, and it's like, it's not.
Yeah,
everything is so just
science.
Yeah.
I dumbed it down. I fucked so many people's drinks up for sure because when I worked there, if people would say things, I would just make them up because I didn't ever know what to do. Like, that's how good our training was. But I feel like if, like, right now, if I could quit a job and open a coffee shop, I might be the happiest person in the world to just, like, be able to wake up early as fuck and just go work there.
Yeah.
That's all I kind of want to do in life now, I feel.
I really liked it. It was fun. And there is so much that goes into it that it was cool to learn.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like one of them things where you could just keep learning about it no matter what. Like, new shit's going to be coming out all the time.
Yeah.
But, so you took over the kitchen. Now, what were they making there? Were the pastries, right?
We did some pastries. At the time, they weren't doing any pastries, but whenever I started there, they had a menu with like different paninis and breakfast sandwiches and then like grab and go options, but it was pretty limited. So I added some things and we started doing pastries just for the Millvale location because our kitchen was like a block away from there.
Oh, yeah, I think you remember telling me that.
And then, yeah, we did all of our prep there and wrapped everything and shipped it to the 4 locations at the time.
Now, how was that? Like, as far as, like, coming up with numbers of things needed and, like, when to make things?
It was fun, and it was a really good learning experience because that was my first time managing anything.
Yeah.
Because I was always a line cook, and I kind of
nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you would have to be nervous. It would be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and whenever we started, it was 2 locations. It was just the one CMU location and the Highland Park location, and at the time it was like, well, that's not too bad, and then it doubled to 4 in like maybe a year and a half. So I was still trying to get like a good feel for everything, and like managing people is like crazy.
Yeah, I bet.
But it was fun. And
now, were you yourself like cooking and shit there, or just
at the
overseeing?
beginning, I was cooking pretty much everything because whenever I started there, we didn't have any employees because we were using a different company that was doing the prep and assembling everything for us. Yeah. So whenever we made that switch, they were still with that other company.
Ah, okay.
So then I came in and I was kind of, I had to hire everyone.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure that was stressful.
Yeah, I never interviewed anyone. I was like, what do I ask them?
I know, you got to pretend. I would just pretend.
Yeah.
I would just be like, so, like, are you prepared for this?
Yeah.
And probably more prepared than I am, really.
Right. So, it was an interesting learning experience, and I'm glad that I did it. And
now, how long were they open before you started working for them?
So the Highland Park location has been open for 20 years.
Oh, that long?
Yeah. And then I
Holy
think
shit.
the one CMU location has been open for like 8 or 10.
Oh, I thought that it was like a new place.
No, she was, she opened that coffee shop, I think, before the first Starbucks even came to Pittsburgh.
Wow. I met her that day that I was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was, and you guys had that like, now what was it on that second floor? What were you doing there? Doing like pourings?
Yeah, they had coffee, they call them cuppings.
Cuppings, that's it,
Yeah, where you get to try different coffees, and it's like a whole process. But then upstairs they have like an espresso training lab. So all of the baristas that they were hiring like went through an extensive training, which is awesome.
I would love if they would do that to the Dunkin' down the road.
Yeah.
Because every single day, it's like, it's fucked up because I'll go to that Dunkin' every day just because it's convenient. But I would say 8 out of the 10 times I go there, it's just trash.
Yeah.
It's just water that's a little bit brown, or it's just all white.
Yeah, like sugar.
Yeah,
like
it's just a sugar
sweetened
water.
milk. Yeah.
But whenever they give you that cup that's hitting a little bit different, it's so good. And you're like, damn. It's even better than Starbucks on a good day, I would feel. Mm-hmm. But Starbucks is just more convenient. not convenient, but more consistent.
Yeah.
But I really try to like now I'm trying to like kind of focus it all to the local people, the small, because I like all the different flavors of all that shit.
Yeah.
All Starbucks stuff I feel is just like rocket fuel that tastes the same. Mm-hmm. It all just tastes like a little bit burnt, and I kind of like that, I think. But if you go to like the different, I honestly feel that the coffee shops that are like privately owned that I go to differently, I do not like their coffee as much because you get that acidity, you get that fruit flavor, and I'm not a fruit flavor coffee guy.
Yeah, the one thing with Tazo was they, because I don't work there now.
Yeah.
Their coffee was from a place called Counterculture.
Yeah.
Out of North Carolina, and they don't do a dark roast, so it's all super light, which is great for people that do like the acidic flower or floral tasting coffees, whatever. I
bought a bag of that, and I never disliked coffee anymore.
Yeah.
Than that Counterculture
It
stuff.
takes a long time to get used to it. Whenever I first started there, I didn't like it, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like it's not a good quality coffee. It's just like I wanted nothing to do with it because like it just tasted like it was just sitting in a metal pot.
Yeah.
With a little hint of like someone squeezed an orange in there or some shit.
I know exactly what you mean. And the one thing with, I guess, with coffees is like the longer you roast the bean, the less caffeine it has.
Yeah. Dark roast has less caffeine.
Yeah, which is, I guess, cool for the lighter roasts. But if you don't like the taste, then what's the point?
Well, I think it's actually by volume, if I'm correct. I feel like that a medium roast, because it's more dense. If I'm right, that Tyler guy who taught me how to roast that coffee, I think he said that a medium roast just doesn't, it's still more dense, so you need less of it, which still has all the coffee or which still has all the caffeine in it, but dark roast is lighter, so you need more of it. I don't know, that might be right, something to that there.
That sounds right. Yeah.
But it was weird to even like roast one roast of it to like try to learn a lot of, like he was explaining to me like the process and like how things like work with it all. And I originally thought that dark roast and like medium roast, I thought they were different beans in all together. Like I was like, oh, these are just different, they're grown differently, but it's not. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And now for you to like make, I mean, it's obviously a different vein if you're like cooking all this shit for this coffee shop and everything. Like, what did you like more? Did you like the smaller type organization, like the, what's the word? The smaller, like,
like
feel
a small,
of it all?
Yeah.
Production. That's a small production.
Yeah. I preferred working in like a smaller kitchen for sure. Because it was like working at Tazo was more of like the catering style, so it's not like you're working on a line for an open restaurant.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we were just, assembling everything, and then the baristas were,
dealing with all
pressing
the
it on
shit.
the panini press to order and stuff like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we only saw like the first half of it.
Yeah, you didn't have to deal with all the bullshit.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
You get the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
So, I mean, like, you worked there for a little bit, and then, I mean, you enjoyed that, though?
Yeah, it was a cool experience, and, I mean, I got free coffee all the time, so.
Can't beat that. And, I mean, like, that brings us to, like, that's kind of where I started seeing you come out with, like, all this artwork. I mean, you have fucking hot sauce, pickles. I mean, RJ has all this artwork shit. You guys got the art with all the stickers and everything.
Yeah.
Now, where did this all come from? Like when did you kind of decide, like, hey, I'm going to start making these like crazy watercolors and selling them?
Yeah, so the watercolors started this January. Actually, I like started back up doing watercolors, and just because I was bored, honestly, because it was cold and it was like, what else am I going to do? So
Yeah.
I pulled out the watercolors, and I had like a stack of them just like sitting in the corner, and RJ's like, you should sell these on Etsy.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you think? And then I was like, okay. So I opened up my Etsy, and it was funny because someone bought something. I got like a notification, like, sale on Etsy.
And it's so awesome to feel that.
And I was like, do you think they accidentally bought it And RJ's like, I don't think you can accidentally buy something on Etsy. But I was like so caught off guard because I didn't think that anybody was going to buy it, honestly. Because when it's your art, like you see it
differently than other people.
Every imperfection.
Absolutely.
It's just so different for the person that made it. And yeah, I had my first sale, and then
You were pumped?
I was super pumped. I was like laying in bed, and I was like, RJ.
I know, right?
It was exciting, and then I ended up selling all of the things that I had listed, and I was like, well, shit, I have to paint more.
Yeah. And was it like local people, or was it like new people that you didn't know too?
It was a mix.
Yeah, like it has to be a mix. Like there's people you obviously know in the beginning, but like, were you getting some people that you didn't know?
Yeah, which was even more strange for me.
That's whenever you're like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, and it's like, why are they buying this?
Yeah, right? You're like, how did they even figure this out?
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about it. I feel like, I mean, it's obviously awesome whenever it's like, you know, oh, I went to high school with this kid. Like I put them shirts up, and this kid that I went to high school with that I don't even talk to that much anymore, he bought like 3 of them, and I was like, dude, like, fuck yeah, like, thank you.
Yeah.
But then you see names that you don't even know, and you're like, what is this? Mm-hmm. And it for people to like just give you money for the thing that you're making, I don't know, it makes me feel weird inside.
It makes me feel weird. Yeah,
it's like, you feel almost like bad, like you want to like give it to them, but it's like, I get it now. Now that I'm like making shit and everything, like I understand like the whole like idea of it.
Yeah.
But I was always like super, I don't know, I was just always thankful that like random people want to buy my shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And I saw that you guys had it was over 300 sales.
Yeah.
Like over 300 sales on that page is crazy.
It is very crazy.
6 months?
Yeah.
Like that's nuts.
It is. And when I first started doing, it was like more organic looking, like garlic or carrots and like different veggies, because I can't draw a straight line to save my life. And then my friend Anthony decided to like ask me to make a painting for him for his friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do you want? He's like, what about an ape smoking a blunt?
Oh, you're talking about Anthony for Beatty.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
I just met Beatty for the first time the other day.
Oh, cool.
Very nice guy.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that might have been one of the first things that I seen that I was like, because I remember you posting like the vegetables.
Yeah.
And like the garlic and stuff. And that's definitely cool. But like if I see a gorilla smoking a blunt, it's going to catch my eye a little bit more than like a garlic. You know what I mean?
And it was purple and
and it just looked it like you have like a cartoony, like it's a cartoony style, like that one that I bought of the cat with the upside down fish in the bowl. Like, I don't even like cats really, but I thought it was so cool because like I just like the little characters. It's like it's almost like a silly character of it all. Yeah, and
that ape was like the first thing that I drew, and I was like, that would be a cool sticker.
Yeah, for sure.
So then I made stickers out of it, and then that's kind of where the whole sticker thing started happening. And
it's so bizarre with stickers now because, like, remember whenever we were young and you would go to, like, them slide machines that you would you would get, like, them stickers that say, like, Bootylicious or, like, Attitude, Angel, and you're like, I remember going to, like, the roller rinks and buying them.
Yes.
And, like, every time I would get one that said, like, 99% Angel, 1% Devil, and I would want, like, the guy version, you know, like the alien that's all holographic.
Yeah.
But I would always get the girl ones. Yes. It would always fuck me
up.
I
loved those things.
Those were so cool. They would come in that white little foldable thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved it. Those were such a fun time. Quarter machines, I feel like, do kids even use them anymore, really?
I was thinking about that today, which is really funny that you bring it up. Because I was at Primanti's and they have them like full of candy. And I'm like, I wonder how old that candy is.
Absolutely. I don't know the last time I seen a young kid run to a quarter machine and like buy like a bouncy ball or something. Yeah. You just see these little idiots running around with their phones just like playing Fortnite. Yeah. And I used to go crazy with bouncy balls.
Oh my gosh, yeah, or yo-yos something.
Anything you would want. You would go to them quarter machines where it would be like the expensive ones, and it would be like you either get the little slappy hand, or if you're lucky enough, you get like the metal like grenade that you could put a a cap-in.
Yes.
And you're just like, I'll never get that, but you have to keep buying them.
Yep.
Man, those were so fun.
Loved it.
That was a sticker culture, though. Like, so many people were all about stickers, and I feel like it's coming back now.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is making stickers, and everyone wants stickers.
Yeah, for laptops, water bottles, cars.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, those original art pieces, like, as the person that's creating those, do you feel anything with, like, getting rid of them?
Oh, yeah. It was funny because the cat that you bought, I was super sad that it sold. But I was like, oh, well, it's going to a good home.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
I love that bat, too.
Thanks. Yeah. I get attached to some of them, and there's still some that I have that I'm not ready to part with.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll give it a couple months, and I'm sure I'll be sick of it and have done something better that I'm more attached to, so I'll end up, listing it or something. But sometimes it's hard seeing certain things go.
I'm sure it is. Like, but whenever you look at those pictures, like, do you see things wrong with those that you would change?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like, I mean, like, from my point of view, like, they look good. I feel like if you don't see things wrong with the things that you make, you're not good at what you do.
Yeah, I don't think there's one thing that I've ever done that I didn't see something wrong with, for
What's
sure.
your favorite thing you ever made that, like, you've never been more proud of?
Oh, gosh.
I was going to save that for a desert island question, but we'll just put it in now.
Yeah, that's a really hard question. Probably... I don't know. That's such a hard question.
It's hard.
Probably not a painting. More probably pottery.
Yeah, mine is
pottery.
Mine is a bowl that I made on a wheel that my art teacher told me wasn't good, and I won a fucking ribbon for it, and I put it on her desk. I did, but I loved pottery. I was never good at anything else, so like I was thinking today, I was like, I'm gonna ask, like, what's your favorite thing you ever made? Because like it's I'm interested in it. It's like anyone that's good at art, I immediately like. I'm just attracted to what they make, is because like I can't do it. So I always want to know, like, what is the sickest piece that you love? Like, I'm sure that them, like, that devil picture with that young girl with the eyes.
Yeah.
I love that so much, but I'm sure the same thing, the artist, Wool Slayer, like, he probably sees 100 things that he would change in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm always curious, like, what's your favorite thing ever? Because, like, if that's your favorite, like, it got to be crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I think, like, my pig cups are probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, those
at
are,
least to make.
That thing's, I love that pig. People compliment it all the time. They
Yeah,
really do.
They're goofy, and I like to make, like, goofy things that'll make people smile or laugh or
Why
whatever.
not?
Yeah.
So after this shit started, like, taking off a little bit with all these stickers, like, what's your idea? Like what are you thinking when this is going on? Because this is like you and RJ shit.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that he's like crazy talented at art.
He's insane.
Yeah, like you posted, I think Anthony posted a picture of him, I guess it was like for an art show or something. He was like standing up against a wall of charcoal paintings. I was like, what the fuck? And then I click on his shit.
That was forever ago.
Yeah, I know. Well, I saw that it was like from like years, and I was like, geez. And then I saw this Mac Miller picture that he did, and it was honestly probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's insane. He went to IUP for art.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because he's like, his stuff is so real looking, and
yeah,
it's
like
so,
he has a different style.
Yeah. I mean, I could never in a million years do what he does.
That picture of that Mustang that you posted the other day.
2 hours.
Yeah, like that right there. I could, if someone had a gun to my head and was like, you get a year to make it exactly.
I couldn't.
Never. It wouldn't look anything like that.
And then, like, we're at home and, like, say that orange cat is sitting next to his Mac Miller. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go.
But it has to be good, though, because, like, you just have to, like, push each other, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I probably wouldn't have opened my Etsy if RJ didn't say, like, well, you should sell these, so.
Yeah. That's good, though. That's
yeah, and, like,
cool.
seeing him do what he does is, like, insane to me. Like, it blows my mind. So, yeah, I think we push each other, and we're so different with our art that it's fun to kind of see those differences.
It's like a yin-yang.
Yes.
It's very, very, I I don't know. It's interesting
Yeah.
because it's like, I don't know, like Antoinette is nothing. The only common thing that we have together is like emo shit.
I was gonna
from
say
back
your
in the
emo
day.
phase.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like all that music and everything. But other than that, we don't have too much shit in common.
Yeah.
It's like we're kind of just like finding our own similarities like over the last couple of years. But
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, it's fucking wild.
It's
But
fun.
to like sell all that shit on there and like get that good of a response, like, do you have, I mean, like, and after all these stickers and everything, like, what was the first other thing you started to make? Was it them pots, right? You started selling them pots.
Yeah, I mean, I made those, like, the pig pots. The first pig pot I made was probably, like, 2010.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And I look at I mean, my mom has it,
Yeah.
and she has it in her bathroom, and every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, my gosh.
Just like, that ain't no good.
Yeah.
But, like, now they look crazy. And like I said, they're cool little characters. Like, I like, and, like, I feel like, why wouldn't people like that?
Yeah.
We're
they're
in such like a
silly.
weird world now where everyone's just like getting into plants. People are starting to like get into craft beers, and then on the weekends they're like getting into woodworking.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre,
Mm-hmm.
like how we all like this whole like generation is kind of getting to like that entrepreneurial vein.
Yeah.
I enjoy it though, like, and that's where I feel like it comes through with like the whole like classes of everything. Mm-hmm. But like you started making them pots, and then like I saw you came out with like a fucking hot sauce came out of nowhere. And I was like, a hot sauce. And then I knew you cooked, so I was like, oh, this got to be good to eat. So we got this hot sauce, and my buddy, because like I remember you saying like, oh, I might, like you put like a poll up. You were like, oh, should I make hot sauce? And I remember the name came up, and I was like, oh, it's a dope name.
Yeah.
And then you came out with these sauces with the labels, with Dirty Bird, and it's just like, I love all the extra details.
Yeah.
Like you could have just put them in like a shitty bottle and like kind of just let it go. But like I become like obsessive about things. That's why I made the logo for the coffee.
Yeah.
And I just like to make things look good. And you made that label, and everything kind of came together. So whenever we got it and we both sat here and tried it, and we were like, damn, this is fucking good, but it's different. We were pumped about it.
Yeah.
And like I was just more or less like, you know, like I like that you're doing all this shit, and I'm sure that like, you know, there's people that listen to this that don't know of the stuff that you do.
Yeah.
So I feel like it'd be cool. Like, where did the hot sauce idea come into play?
Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember like what, like a period of time where I'm like, I'm going to start making and selling hot sauce. I don't know. It just kind of started to happen. I made it at home just for us to eat.
Yeah.
And then
Are you always cooking wild ass shit?
I like to sometimes.
Like,
Yeah.
I remember seeing a post that was like, I have this in my fridge, this in my fridge, and this in my fridge. Let's see what I can make.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. That's awesome that, like...
I love doing that stuff. Yeah, fridge foraging.
Fridge foraging.
Yep.
But the hot sauce, so, like, what's the process of a hot sauce?
For mine, I just pretty much get fresh peppers and I boil it in vinegar and salt, and you blend it up and you strain it. And I mean, mine is very, very simple. I don't ferment it. I don't do anything fancy with it. But that was kind of the point, because like Tabasco is probably the most common fermented.
Now, whenever you say fermented, like, it's just left in a jar for a while, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I don't know. I will probably sound stupid if I try to like explain the
That's all right.
process of fermentation to you, but yeah.
What's the basis of it, though?
You pretty much have to have like certain. I think it has to do with like the salt content and the acidity, and
And for
it's like
you,
pickling, sort of.
now
but-
for you to have this like sauce. Now you made this, you boiled this down, and then you blend it up, and then you bottle it.
Yeah, and then I strain it, and the natural pectin in the peppers, whenever you're boiling it,
Say it again.
pectin.
What's that?
It's like a thickening agent almost. Like if you know how you can buy like powdered pectin to make jelly.
No.
No. Well, you can, and it is naturally occurring in fruits and
Okay.
stuff like that. So whenever you boil the peppers, it like activates that pectin, and then that's why the hot sauce is like thicker.
Oh, okay.
And if you don't cook it, will be more runny because you're not like activating that pectin.
Huh. Never knew
But
about
yeah,
pectin.
it's like I kind of wanted to make it like a fresher tasting hot sauce, I guess. So
Yeah, it definitely has like a different. It's almost like a red sauce kind of like a consistency.
yeah,
Which I like. It's different. It definitely tastes different than other ones. But
Mm-hmm.
now, so for you to not ferment it, like you're putting it in a bottle and you're just like, you seal it. You got a seal on there. Now, how long does what's like a shelf life of something like that?
that'll honestly last forever.
Because of the acid and the vinegar and shit?
Yeah, because of it's like all vinegar. So, and I mean, vinegar is a preservative. So,
Yeah.
and the acidity level is so high that nothing will ever grow in there.
That's good to know.
So it can be refrigerated. I prefer it because it keeps it brighter and kind of like fresher.
Yeah.
But you don't have to
Okay.
at all. Yeah.
Now, if you ferment hot sauce, does it like last longer? Like, is there other benefits of it?
Yeah. I don't think it will necessarily last longer. I think it's
Maybe get more potent?
yeah, it just changes the whole flavor profile of it. There's probably going to be like more depth to it.
Okay. I just learned about that way to describe food.
Yeah,
Depth.
depth.
The cheese guy.
Yeah,
he
or
was
like umami is another.
I've never had that either.
Yeah.
The
It's like-
sushi place?
That there is a sushi place called that, but umami is like that savory,
Oh.
like deep or kind of flavor, I guess.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about just sushi. I was like, where'd that come from? But I mean, like the hot sauce is good. I would tell you if like it wasn't.
Thank
Maybe
you.
I wouldn't, but it is good. And even Dirty Bird, like whenever I dropped his shit off to him, he was like, I told him, I was like, dude, that sauce logo is so sick. And he was like, dude, tell her. I was like, I'm giving her coffee like in a little bit. I'm gonna meet. He was like, tell her it's so good. He was like, I'm not lying about it. Just tell her it's great.
Yeah, he messaged me and was like, I just want to let you know this is like my favorite hot sauce. I'm like, thank you.
He's such a fantastic guy. So fun to
He
work
is.
with too.
His art is like my favorite. I love it. Like,
yeah, I mean, you can't not like it with
Yeah.
the quickness that he does it, the variety, and like the like he nails everything on the head.
yeah, he does.
And it's in such a way that it's like it's consumable by anyone. There's not like weird shit that you have to interpret. It's just like fun.
Yeah.
It makes things fun. It's a perfect logo too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure RJ and I could have thought of something as a logo,
Yeah,
but I
for
was
sure.
like, I need Dirty Bird to do this for me.
It pops, that's why. Like
Yeah.
the colors and everything.
Yeah.
So how'd you come up with the logo? It's just peppers with a picket side.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of want like a riot of peppers and maybe like
Can I have a riot of
sign.
peppers?
Yeah, I literally said that. You should see the drawing that I sent to him. It looks like shit.
Did you see the one that I posted with the
Yeah, I loved it.
like the t-shirt designs? I got some dude randomly from I was searching somewhere online and I found this dude. He's from India. All right, but his logos are like so cool and like simple, and it's kind of like that negative use space. So I hit him up and I immediately knew he wasn't from here because like him talking back through DMs, like you could tell. And I sent him the most ridiculous drawing ever. And he came back to me in 7 hours with that first t-shirt logo with the
Oh, I
doctor.
loved it.
And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And like a dude that doesn't understand English really. And I sent him a terrible stick drawing and he just came out with that.
That's when you know they're good.
Yeah, it's when you know that people are good and you're just like, damn, like, and that, like, I don't know. And then people argue about paying people for art and everything.
Yeah.
You're just like, bro, like, I couldn't do that for the life of me. Mm-hmm. But so you had a riot of peppers on the first one
Yep.
and it came out great. And then this new one, what are you calling this?
Yeah, I've been calling it the habanero hot as like the flavor.
The habanero hot.
'Cause
How much hotter is this?
So the first one I was getting between like a 4 and 5.
Yeah, I would say around 4 or 5.
Yeah, and then this one I've been getting 7.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So, yeah.
Little notch up.
Yeah,
Now, do you like this one personally?
I do.
Are you like a hot person?
I like it. I'm not like I don't want to be in pain when I'm eating.
Yeah.
but I like that level of hotness for sure.
That's good. I'm excited to try this one. And this logo is just
A habanero. And I was,
a warlock habanero.
I sent him like a paragraph. I was like, I kind of just want like a habanero pepper, maybe like kind of creepy with like weird teeth and one eye. And then he came up with that, and I was like, it's perfect.
Wow. It really is perfect.
Yeah.
Probably in like a fucking day. And I mean, like, it goes so well with the sauce.
Yeah.
So we have this hot sauce now, and I mean, like, how many bottles did you make at first?
I think to start, I made 24.
And like, you got rid of a decent amount, it looked like. I see people posting all of them, and you reposting it.
Yeah, I've gone through my first batch. I'm like halfway through my second, and my second batch was like probably double. So.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's pretty great.
Yeah, and then I have the little bottles too, just in case someone doesn't want to commit to a big bottle. So.
Wow! And what do you sell these for?
The big one is 10, and then the small one is $3.50.
See, like, I mean, do you ever have people complain about that price?
I haven't. I feel kind of, I don't know. Like $10 is a lot for a bottle of hot sauce.
Is it though?
I mean, if compared to the ones at grocery stores that are like, but you can't really compare them because
Tabasco's making 30,000 gallons a day probably, and you're in fucking your house
right
with one blender, just beating the shit out of peppers. It's like you kind of have to deal with it,
right?
That's why I say, like, you know, like you can only go so cheap. Like, I'll do them sticker packs for $5, and it's like the one dude was like $5 for stickers, and I was like, bro, don't buy it. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, do you think
They're
this shit is free?
Yeah,
that's what I said. Do you think it's free? And it's like the more local you get with buying shit off of people, you're gonna spend more.
Yeah,
and you should feel good about spending more.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not getting shit trimmed off the top to give to rich ass people driving around in Ferraris and shit.
Yeah. The cheapest I've seen is like 30 cents for a sticker, like for you to have made.
And it probably isn't even that good a quality.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want good shit, you have to just make it nice.
Right.
I mean, like, we're all in the fucking trenches out here.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't have backers to like, oh, I got to pay $150 for these labels. Like, I don't have no one giving me $150.
Yeah.
We're all just investing in ourselves and hoping people enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, like, the hot sauce, I'm excited about trying this one. And then the other day, I look and I see that you're just like pickling pepper or pickles. Yeah,
yes.
Pickling pickles. Now, where does this come from?
Actually,
wait, before we talk about these pickles, something that threw me off. Whenever I picked up that first, or whenever we exchanged our goods together,
yes,
I gave you that coffee and you gave me this hot sauce. We both loved each other, loved each of our stuff, and you gave me raw garlic.
Yes.
And I was thrown off a little bit because I've never seen garlic.
You're like, what's up with this garlic?
I honestly thought it was like potpourri. I swear I did. I was like, I don't know if you put this in like a cup and you just leave it in your kitchen.
Yeah.
And just kind of look at it, because it doesn't look the same. It has like that stalk and shit on there.
Yeah, that would throw people off.
Absolutely threw me off. And I was like, I asked Antoinette, I was like, do we eat this? And she was like, I don't know. And I think that's whenever I messaged you. But like, you picked this raw garlic.
Yes. Down the road from me is a railroad track, and I don't even know how we spotted it. I think I was in the car with my mom, and you can, whenever garlic is at a certain stage of its life, you can see it. I mean, it has a tall, they call it a garlic scape, which is like a little curly stem, and then at the top of it is like a bulb, and it will turn into a flower and then turn into seed. So we just like spotted them on the side of the road, and we were like, I think that's garlic. So we pulled over and we walked over to it, and we started pulling them, and they were like beautiful bulbs of garlic along this entire hillside. It has to be like a mile long.
Really?
There's like thousands of them.
You just need to get it all and just start packaging it.
And it just it comes up every year. There's no way you can pick all of it. And
that's the first time I've ever had anything like that. Like, I mean, I guess like all garlic is kind of like fresh. Not fresh, but like picked like that. But that's the first, like, that was raw.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this tastes like...
It's sticky.
Maybe mentally I just thought it tasted different, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I did notice that it was stickier.
So sticky.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Just like
I think it's just the sugars in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because regular ones definitely ain't like that too much.
Probably because they're bigger, and so they probably have more water content. So
That's a good point. They're probably not sitting around long either.
Yeah.
It's in a fucking warehouse on a pallet.
yeah,
Makes sense though. But yeah, you gave me that shit. Then the Bloody Mary sticker.
Yeah.
And then all that, and I mean, and now we have pickles.
Yes.
So I'm a big fan of pickles.
me too.
I like pickles of all varieties, and I saw that you put this on. Actually, before even the pickles, you had jam.
Jam.
You were
Yeah.
like, I'm making fresh peach jam if anyone wants it, and I love toasting jam, and that was so great too.
Thank you.
Like that tasted real good, and it wasn't like crazy sweet. I thought it would have been, because usually any jam or preserves you buy are just
Yeah.
too sweet. But that wasn't bad. Like, was there a crazy amount of sugar in that?
Not too much. I don't like stuff like super sweet either.
Like overpowering
Yeah.
sweet.
I kind of want to just, focus on the product I'm using rather than like cover it up with like all this sugar.
I
So
can respect that.
yeah, and I just had some leftover peaches, so I was like, well, I guess I should make jam because these are gonna go bad.
Yeah. Did other people grab some jam?
Yeah,
So good. It was good.
yeah,
Now, the pickles.
Yes.
Finally to the pickles. Now, I asked you before we started recording, I said, are these cucumbers that are just small? And
Yes.
you said, I had them grow them mini for me.
yes.
How does that work? You just
So-
pick them earlier?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There's a farmer. His name's Brian Greenwald. He has a stand
Greenwald.
in the East Liberty Farmers Market near Home Depot.
Maybe.
It's like inside. But I met him through Tazadoro,
Okay.
and he had these, like, they call them gherkins. They're just like smaller cucumbers. One time, and I like fell in love with them because they're like the perfect eating size, I think.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I took all of them that he had, and I would sell them like aside sandwiches at Tazadoro. And then when I stopped working there, I was like, please let me know when you have these pickles. Like, I want them, to be the small ones again, and I'll just take whatever you have. And so he called me up, and he had like 3 bushels, and I was like, I'll take them. I have like no room in my fridge right now. It's all pickles.
I bet. Now, for you to make pickles, like, what's the process of making pickles? I look in this jar and I see a bunch of different, there's garlic, there's a bunch of different spices in there, and then a bunch of pickles. So, like, what is all that shit?
Yeah. I do a pretty simple recipe. It's just equal parts vinegar to water. So cup of water, cup of vinegar,
Yeah.
and then salt. And then I do mustard seeds, pepper flakes, peppercorns, bay leaf, and garlic.
And this one is is it
Spicy
dill?
Oh, and dill. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I heat it's called a brine.
Yeah. I saw something in Picklesburg the
salt
other day.
liquid, yeah.
A brine.
Brine.
People were drinking it.
Gross. I couldn't. I don't love pickles that much.
You don't drink pickle juice, like picklebacks or anything?
That's okay, but I couldn't chug a jar of pickle juice.
Yeah, I couldn't jug a whole jar, but I'll take a swig of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll definitely probably take a swig of that juice.
Yeah, it's good. But I just like heat the brine up, and then I pour it over the cucumbers. And then normally, like, the canning process, you have to boil your jar and get the pressure and then let it seal. I don't really do all of that because imagine, like, boiling your jar of cucumbers. They're gonna cook.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know. I like to technically, I guess these are refrigerator pickles.
Well, that's
as
all
one
right.
would-
Refrigerator pickles.
Yeah.
Now, what's like how long does this have to be for them to like pick up the flavors?
I say like maybe 3 days, but they'll continue to pickle the longer that they sit. And that's kind of why I heat the brine up, because that heat kind of like starts the process off.
Activates it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. I never really knew how they made pickles. I swear to God, I thought that dill pickles, I thought that they grew things that were dill flavored.
Like they were, yeah.
I thought that they were like
That's okay.
mini cucumbers that were flavored like dill. But now I know that they're not. And then you have this other one here, which is the sweet.
Yeah, bread and butter.
Bread and butter chips.
Yes.
Now, it's the same process, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, except I don't heat that liquid up for those ones.
Really?
Yeah, just because whenever you cut a cucumber, they're like more fragile, and like that will absorb that liquid way faster than the whole ones.
Since these are cut up.
Yeah, so I don't even heat that liquid. I just pour it in cold, and then it'll take longer for them to get their flavor and to be pickled.
Yeah.
But it's worth it because they stay really crunchy.
Wow. That's a lot of things that you're involved
Yeah.
with. Now, Now, what about what's like your next idea of all this stuff? Like, I feel like you're making like a bunch of different things.
I know. My
But-
mind's everywhere.
That's all right though. I mean, like, I feel like you got to do it until you figure out what you want to do, right?
Right.
Now, do you have an idea of what you want to do next?
Not really. I think I'll stay with like the stickers on Etsy.
Yeah.
That'll for sure be like just a side thing that I do because
Yeah.
they're pretty simple.
Yeah, it's fun too.
Yeah, and the designs that I make, they could be like, tiny, and they don't have to be huge, and then you could just turn it into a sticker.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to continue with the hot sauce. Just like shipping is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So
That's what's holding me back, I think.
Yeah, like have you came up with anything for it?
Not really.
Because realistically, people bitch about. Okay, so I mean, people that listen to this will understand. It's like people bitch about. Like today, I ordered 2 T-shirts from California, and the flat rate shipping was $10.95.
Yeah.
So $11 for shipping, and immediately I was like, "Fuck, I ain't paying $11 for shipping." But then I'm like, we bitch about it, but what are we supposed to expect them to do it? Like, I
Right.
want people to bitch about my shipping, so I ain't gonna bitch about their shipping.
Yeah.
But I mean, shipping glass bottles of stuff that is perishable. I mean, I guess that's not perishable really, but for it to be in a glass bottle and be liquid, like the only thing you could do is really just like wrap it in fucking bubble wrap and put it in a big box, like not big, but like a big enough box that's gonna like pad it enough.
Yeah.
And like, what's the? Did you figure out shipping? Have you shipped any?
Yeah, I shipped 2 bottles together was like my biggest order.
Of the big bottles.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it came to like, I think it was like $10.
Yeah.
And then that's like a whole.
Was that local?
I think it was to Virginia.
Yeah, see, like if you would have did that to California, it would have been even more.
Yeah, and it's just like I just feel bad like having someone pay for that.
Yeah, because the shipping is more expensive than the product.
Yeah.
But I feel like that, like that's why I'm kind of transparent about shit. Like that whole maple syrup giveaway that I did, like
Yeah, you're like local only.
Yeah, I was just like, bro, like I'm not that's probably like 5 pounds of maple syrup and honey together, and what the fuck? Might have spent $50 to ship it. I saw how much it would have been whenever I did that giveaway with One Up, and to ship a skateboard and like a Giant Eagle bag full of like swag, it was like $43 or some shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you would think like there has to be a better way to do it, but I mean, I guess it's supply and demand really with it.
Yeah, I mean, just the bottles that I order offline, I think like a case of 12 is like $9, and then the shipping was like $13.50.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
And if you really like cut apart like all these stickers people bitch about, or like the price of anything really, it's like I'm paying the artist for the design because I ain't good enough to do it. I'm paying for the quality stickers that are weatherproof. Like, what the fuck? Do you want a paper sticker that I could print out on my computer?
Right.
I don't know. I feel like that's the only thing that I feel like people need to be more understanding with, including me. It's like I go and anytime there's like service fees and shit, like I bitch about all that stuff too. But, more or less, I think people like us that are like involved with this shit firsthand, for us like trying to figure it out, kind of like understand more.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, like, do you ever think about doing all the farmers markets and shit here?
Yeah. I would like to do that for sure. I think my friend Kim with like Whispering Pines.
Yeah.
They're doing a festival in September. I think I'm gonna try and like set up a little stand for that and see how it goes.
Now, how do you prepare for that? It's kind of a guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've never done it before, so I'll just be winging it.
Yeah, and seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
I guess until you do a first one, you never know.
Yeah, you just kind of have to stock up because you might sell a whole bunch or you might not sell any, so.
And you did, now, have you ever done it? You did another thing, right? Like an art.
Oh, yeah, I sold my pottery at
It was like art all night?
Night Market in Squirrel Hill.
Yeah, like what was your experience of that? How was that?
It was fun. It was nerve-wracking though.
Why?
Because I don't know, I just feel like putting your art out there for like people to see is like just nerve-wracking in general.
People look at it and like they look at the bottom and see like $20 and they're just like, ah.
And then they put every time. And the lady, the potter that I use her studio,
Yeah.
she's like telling me that I need to do like $40 for, you know, a pig pot that's this big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I don't feel right doing that.
That makes sense, but like I'm guilty of, you know, them I made it markets. Mm-hmm. You know, before Christmas, I was I always try to buy everyone's gift like with local shit.
Yeah.
And my brother smokes these big ass cigars all the time, so I found this dude who made these incredible ashtrays. I have a thing about ashtrays. I buy them everywhere, but this dude made these crazy looking ashtrays and they were like $45. And like I looked at the bottom of it and immediately I was like, fuck that. And then I was like, you know what, like who the fuck am I to, you know, say that it's not worth that much?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people like I don't know, it's just it's a hard thing to like kind of like hammer down because, you know, some people just don't see it from that view. They see it from like a different pair of glasses. It's just like $40, but this is just clay.
Yeah.
And like some paint. But you're like, bro, can you do it?
Yeah. And there's so much that goes into it and so much love and like care goes into the whole
glaze
process.
doesn't crack. The glaze is even.
Yeah.
Everything looks symmetrical. And you're just like, bro, so I just bought 2 of them.
Yeah.
And usually, I mean, like, I wish I could remember that dude's name so bad because I wanted to talk to him. He made a bunch of really cool, like, weird-ass shit. But, I don't know. I like all them places. Them little markets and everything.
Yeah,
you
they're
always see
super
different
fun.
people in there. Mm-hmm. All right. So, we got... I mean, that's the next move? Like, not farm shows, but farmers markets and stuff?
Yeah.
Now, as far as, like you selling things that's food, do you ever have to worry about like, you know, like ingredients and like, you know, food labels, shit like that?
Yeah. So I didn't know much about it because I never had to, you know, label a product before.
Yeah.
But I guess when you get to a certain amount of sales, like, I don't know, X number, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to have the ingredients on your product. And I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I think I have to eventually
absolutely
do that. Yeah.
Now, is that like nerve-wracking to you? I guess not if you know what's in it and everything.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think so. I think if anything, like getting the nutrition facts on that would be a little bit of a process because you would have to submit to somewhere.
Oh, yeah. The dude from Millie's was telling me that. You have to submit your shit to people and...
They, like, break it down and...
That's pretty wild to think about, too. Like, the stuff that's, you know, like, more and more talking to people that do all this stuff, you really, like, kind of get an idea of, like, how much goes into it all. It's like you have to pay for you to get your fucking ingredients on there, bottling, labeling, sanitary shit, and you're just like, damn, like, maybe this stuff is not cut out for everyone to do. You really got to love it.
Yeah, it's a lot. And whenever you look at a bottle of hot sauce or a jar of pickles, you don't... No one thinks about it.
That's why I wanted to talk to you. I'm just like, you know, people don't understand it, I feel. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the more people that listen to conversations like this that are more like, behind everything, and like you kind of like learn what the process of it is all
Yeah.
without just being like lied to. Mm-hmm. Like you're not talking to someone who fucking makes Tabasco.
Yeah.
And they're not going to tell you like, I'm just in my kitchen like hustling
Yeah.
this shit as best as I can. Mm-hmm. I feel like people kind of might get a better appreciation of it all.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I feel like we covered a lot of it. Did we miss
did.
anything?
I don't think. We covered a lot.
All right. I'm excited for these pickles and the rest of the shit. I'm pretty happy with how the cold coffee came out.
Oh,
I
it's
really
so
am.
good. I love it.
I'm pumped that your mom liked it too.
Oh, she was raving.
Would you be honest with me if you didn't like it?
I would be, yeah.
Would you really though?
Yeah, I would.
I feel like some people might not be. I know it's good because I've gotten rave reviews, but I want someone to be honest with me.
If
about
I
it.
didn't like it, I would probably I wouldn't have said anything. So
That's all right. I accept that. All right. So the ending segment that I do of all the podcasts, I do Desert Island questions.
yes.
Desert Island questions. I ask all my guests I give all my guests 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until they die. So the first category of Desert Island questions is things to watch. So you get 3 choices of whatever you want.
I don't know. This is probably a very basic answer and
That's all right.
common answer. The Office.
Yeah.
100%.
I like all that. Yeah.
It's on repeat all day.
I was watching it whenever you came in.
Yeah, it's all that we watch whenever we're like, we'll just put it on and do our thing. And
Do you think that you would? I think about this a lot sometimes. If Antoinette didn't like The Office, like if I would be able to, if we would be able to get along as much, because like it really is just on all the time.
yeah,
I don't know what it would be like to because that's honestly my favorite show. So I don't know what it would be like to grow up in a house, or not to grow up, but live in a household
Yeah.
where people hate it.
it would be weird.
It would be weird.
Because
I think.
RJ loves it too.
That's great.
I can't imagine.
He seems like a cool dude.
He is.
That's good. So The Office is definitely a good choice.
Yes.
You have a favorite character? You can't pick Dwight, Michael, or Jim. Or Pam.
Okay. I think Creed's hilarious.
Absolutely.
He's
and
underrated.
Meredith. Creed and Meredith.
Yes.
And Kevin and Oscar.
They're all
Stanley
so good.
too, yeah. But I would have to say
I like Angela too because she's like miserable and
I like her, but she doesn't bring me as much joy as like Creed. Like
Yeah.
whenever everyone's throwing up and he's just eating the
Yes.
noodles. It's like, I know what that smell is. I sprout mung beans.
yeah.
It's just like random shit like that.
Yep.
Where I think that's the best part about The Office is that you could watch it 100 times.
You
You're
can.
always going to pick something different up
Yep.
out of it.
For sure.
All right.
And then second, I wish I could just say anything Tim Burton.
You like Tim Burton?
Love him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you have to pick something though.
Probably Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Or
It
A
has
Nightmare
to.
Before Christmas. They're tied, maybe.
Yeah.
Or I could just put those as my 2 answers.
Those are
Because-
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you like one of them emo kids
Yeah,
that had
I
like the
was.
Nightmare Before Christmas hoodies?
Yeah.
Like in summer and
Like
shit like
Jack
that.
Skellington right here.
yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I love it. It's so good. Hot
Yep.
Topic.
Yep.
Now, were you wearing like black hoodies in summertime whenever it's hot as fuck
Yeah.
out?
Skinny
You were,
j-
you were
yeah.
deep into it.
I mean, I wasn't like, all the
Parachute
spikes
pants and
no,
everything?
I didn't. No,
Okay, okay.
skinnies, like so skinny that you couldn't take them off.
Oh, okay.
In like neon colors.
Jeggings and shit like that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I wore a pair of jeggings before. I was Brandon Matty for Halloween.
Ooh.
And he had the tightest jeans I've ever seen in my life. And I had to go to Rue 21 and ask for, or Deb. It was Deb.
Oof.
And I had to
Deb.
ask for plus size women. And they were like, really? And I was like, yeah. And that was it. And
That's awesome.
That was I still have them, I think. They were pretty comfortable. I think it's fucked up how girls just get to wear tights all the time. Because I know that's comfortable. Like,
I live in them.
I have football leggings, and they're the most comfortable things ever. It's like, why ain't it acceptable for guys?
I know.
But all right, so you have Tim Burton and you have The Office. Those are good choices.
Yeah.
I love Beetlejuice.
I
You
love
think
it.
they'll make the second one?
I don't know. I saw that they're doing a, I think it's a musical
Oh, really?
of Beetlejuice, and I saw a preview, and I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Didn't look too good.
No, they were singing a song about, like, dead mom, and I'm like, what dead mom?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I can't think of one off the top of my head
No.
in the movie.
Maybe
so.
from the cartoons.
Maybe.
I went to California in 2010, and we went to this museum, and for some real weird reason, a Tim Burton exhibit was there.
I went to that in New York.
It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
I got yelled at for trying to take pictures.
Yeah, me too. It was just so wild to see like the sandworms and everything in there, and
Yeah.
like the Edward Scissorhands shit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're just like,
And all his,
Jesus.
like, early work.
The artwork, yeah,
So
the
cool.
artwork is crazy.
Yeah.
I like all that weird dark shit.
Me too.
Definitely cool. All right, so those are good for watching. Now, do you read?
Honestly, I don't read that much.
Okay, so I'll switch it up. I was ready for it. Your 3 favorite.
I mean, I like cookbooks. That's
What about chefs?
chefs. Ooh, okay.
I was gonna ask you your favorite food, but we'll wait till
Yeah.
death row.
Favorite chefs.
Guy Fieri.
I mean, Thomas Keller is like
I don't know who that
the
is.
best ever. He has the French Laundry. He's just like,
It's
One
called
of-
the French Laundry.
yeah, his restaurant.
I like that
He's just
name.
like, yeah, awesome. And David Chang is super cool. He is the chef and owner of Momofuku.
Did he has a show on Netflix?
He was on Chef's Table, I believe, on Netflix. He had a episode. He does like the milk bar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know who
with-
you're talking about now. I was thinking of someone different.
I like him. All his recipes are good. I have his cookbooks, and I really like them. And I love Asian food, so
Yeah, I mean Asian
Yeah.
and Mexican food is probably. I mean, I would say that's probably my favorite.
yeah, I love it.
I used to hold Italian food up there above them both, but Asian food and Mexican food has to be my favorite now.
Yeah, I like Asian because it's not always the easiest thing to cook at home.
Yeah.
So I mean, Italian, I can.
Yeah, you throw
That's easy, like home
bowls
food.
in a
so.
sauce.
Yeah. So, and then for my third, I'm going to go with a Food Network chef because
Okay.
I just love her. Ina Garten.
I'm not even pretending that I know all these people.
She had a show called Barefoot Contessa. She's just like, she lives in the Hamptons and she's like an older woman. And I don't know. She's just like hilarious. And like her husband's always coming in on her show and like eating her food and like loving it. And
That's
I don't
good.
know. She's just hilarious. And all of her recipes are like just spot on every time. Like I trust all of them.
That's
so
good.
I have to pick her.
Okay, now to piggyback off this, what's your least favorite thing to cook?
My least favorite thing. Maybe chicken breast.
Yeah, I hate cooking chicken and fish. I'm not good at it.
I like chicken thighs and chicken wings, but chicken breast is just like so boring and I'm just over it.
I wish that I was just better at being able to tell when it was done.
Yeah.
I bought a thermometer from Giant
I was
Eagle.
going to say you should.
This one was trash. It didn't work
Oh.
at all. But I'm going to get a nice one.
Yeah.
It'll be a game changer. Do you use a crock pot a lot?
I don't.
Do chefs scoff at that?
I feel, yeah, it's more of like a home cook type thing.
Yeah, right?
And
We're just kind of faking it all.
Yeah, I try to use a crock pot, and it's funny because I'll like text my mom and I'm like, so what do you do to do this? Because I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out, but I mean, moms are like the best with crock pot recipes.
I called my mom the other day and asked her about meatloaf, how long it took her to cook her meatloaf. For some reason, I was like, I remember her being like 3.5 hours, and she was like, no, like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But yeah, they know.
Yeah, and crock pot, I mean, you just throw it in, and I would never do anything except for like pulled pork or pulled chicken
Yeah.
or pulled beef, like something
Yeah.
like meat. I would never do a soup in a crock pot. Like that to
Oh,
me
really?
is like,
Whoa.
no. No.
Don't fuck with that soup. Okay.
Yeah.
I make chili in a crock pot. It was pretty good.
That works, I guess, but nothing with like a noodle. I'll
Yeah.
see like those videos from BuzzFeed and they're making chicken noodle soup in a crock pot, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, the noodle probably disintegrates.
Yeah, it has to be mush.
That's a good point. I had some wild soup. I was never like a huge soup guy. I'm starting to be more of a soup guy because my palate's, being refined and shit.
Yes.
And I went to Streets' year opening, and that was probably the most like experimental with soup. He had a butternut squash bisque, and I never once ate butternut squash and was like, oh, this is fucking good.
Yeah.
But this was like, he had like a bunch of different courses, so like it was just, you got what you got. And I was like, what is this? And it was just an orange soup, nothing in it. It was just like what is it, a broth? Or?
Like a puree, yeah.
Puree, yeah. And I was like, we'll see how this is. It was the best soup I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I just need to try to get a little bit more experimental with food.
That'd be really easy to do at home, too.
Yeah. Were you ever picky eating?
Never.
Me either. I think that's why I look like this. Anyway, so the third question is things to listen to on a desert island.
Okay. Mac Miller for sure.
Which one? Get specific.
Gosh. Probably swimming.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do you think that if he didn't pass away, you would love it as much as you do? I was thinking about that the other day.
I loved it. Yeah.
While he was still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I listened to it on repeat even when he was still here.
yeah, it's pretty wild to think about that, because there was an article that said, do you think that Mac Miller would be as influential or some shit if he didn't die? And you're like, I mean, fuck yeah. Like, that dude was
Yeah.
getting crazy respect from like the godfathers of hip hop. Like,
Yeah, for
everyone
sure.
showed a little white Jewish kid from Pittsburgh the craziest amount of respect ever. Even people that were like, like the Roots, fucking, like, it's just wild to see all that shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good answer. Mac Miller Swimming has been on here a few times.
Yeah.
Quite a few times.
He was like the first, famous person to pass that like actually
Impacted our lives.
Yeah, like I felt that one.
It was right in our, because we grew up with him.
Yeah, I mean, I listened, like, all his old stuff I've been listening to since, like, since he started, and I've always loved it, and
It's a real shame.
it really is. Very
It's a bummer.
unfortunate.
All right, so swimming, as usual.
And then probably Dean Martin.
Ooh, that's a really good answer.
Yeah,
It's never been on here before. No one's
Really?
ever chose Dean Martin.
I love him.
We've had Frank Sinatra and like some of the others. Never once Dean Martin.
I love him. I grew up listening to him.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah, and I don't know, it reminds me of my dad.
Yeah.
So I would like to have that with me.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's like a specific album. But just anything Dean Martin.
All right, that's good.
Yeah. And then a third.
Hawthorne Heights? No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say Chiodos. So good though.
Man.
Maybe Taking Back Sunday. Get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I love Taking Back Sunday.
I preferred Chiodos over them for sure, but as far as a full catalog, Chiodos.
So good.
Those were Chiodos, Mayday Parade, and probably a Mirror. Probably defined a good bit of my high school.
Yeah.
It's a very, very weird tripod of music.
It is.
Mayday Parade just getting thrown in there.
Yeah.
Just
it's really
crying
poppy.
to
Yeah.
like 3 Cheers for 5 years. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, those are good choices for sure. Are you choosing Chiodos?
No, Taking Back Sunday.
Oh yeah, you said
Yeah.
Taking Back Sunday.
Or Under Oath, maybe. But Under Oath's
Ooh.
a little much.
That's
so.
a little much, but it's good.
Yeah.
Under Oath's good. You know what's wild is if you think about it, I've talked about this on here for a while, how crazy it is because like we've been in that like emo vein for a long time or similar age. Think about like how weird it is that like Panic at the Disco, when they first came out, and how no one knew who they were, and now Brendan Urie is like a fucking Broadway god.
It's
and
insane.
Pop god.
Yeah, he has a song with Taylor Swift, and I'm like,
Paramore.
what? Yeah.
Think of Paramore. You think of Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Then you think of Bring Me the Horizon, who literally I've watched Oliver Sykes spit in girls' faces, and they were just like, they had like their mouth open waiting for it at Warped Tour.
Yeah.
Like they wanted the disrespect.
Yeah.
And now they're being played at like the Penguin Games, and you're just like,
It's crazy.
crazy time to be alive.
Yeah.
Brendan Urie might be one of the biggest people in the world right now, and you're just like, fuck, this emo ass kid.
Yeah, it blows my mind that the whole transition of Panic at the Disco is just like so bizarre to me.
How weird is it? It's weird as fuck to me. And Paramore. Because
Yeah.
whenever Paramore was coming out, and you're like, oh, Hayley Williams is 15, 16, yellow hair, I love her. And then they just started like making these trash songs
Yeah.
that they just beat to death. Same thing with Fall Out Boy. Mm-hmm. To go from Grand Theft Autumn to Century just tears me apart.
Yeah, I agree. But like, I think with Panic at the Disco, like, isn't Brendan the only one that is?
There's one other guy, I think, because he was just on a podcast. You ever hear Your Mom's House with Tom Segura? You know who that is?
It sounds familiar.
Tom Segura is this really, really raunchy comedian who's friends with like Joe Rogan and Burt Kreischer and all that.
Okay.
And for the 500th episode of their podcast, I looked at it and I was like, I wonder who this is going to be. It'd probably be like Rogan or Burt or something. It said Brendan Urie, and I was like, what the fuck? And it turns out Brendan Urie is probably one of the biggest fans. He like wrote a song to these like inside jokes that they have. It's, I don't know, it's just so weird to like see where people end up after like that emo phase.
I never expected that from him.
Absolutely. All right, those are good choices. Good choices for sure. All right. Now the second to last question is the death row meal.
Oh, ooh.
So whatever you want from wherever you want, as much as you want.
That's really tough. I would say soup dumplings
Ooh,
from Everyday Noodle.
they're so good there.
I could eat them until I die.
Yeah, they're very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, they're like the best ever. I just love them. And it's like my favorite thing is soup.
Yeah.
And like put it in a dumpling. It's perfect.
Yeah. I think, I can't remember where we just went and we had them. Maybe Mad Noodle in Southside. Have you ever had that? It's like kind of by One Up, or kind of on the, I think it's on the same block as like Smoky Bones. So like
okay.
maybe 20th. It's like this weird orange building. But the first time I went there, I hated their food because I think I got something weird, like something bizarre, but I got soup dumplings this time and they were fucking incredible.
I love them.
Yeah, they're really,
They're
really
perfect.
good. I just like all dumplings. Like
Me
any
too.
noodle with shit in it is like tortellini, all that. That's my wheelhouse.
Yes.
All right, that's a good choice. And the last question is if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Ooh. I think this is going to sound like super weird, but if
That's
I
all
could
right.
talk to my Nana, but when she was 30,
Ooh, that would be good.
just because I feel like that would be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, that would be super interesting. When your grandparent is young,
Yeah.
it would be interesting even now, just because like they see everything that they've done. Like they went from 2 phone numbers
Yeah.
that everyone shared to like people were just FaceTiming in Walmart. Like,
Yeah.
yo, that's so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
My great grandma died when she was like 103. So
Wow.
like she was like straight off the boat from Croatia, and like the only thing that was bad with her was her hearing. So she had this like box that was like a 4x3-inch box, and you would hug her and you hear the reverb.
Yeah.
But I would always just think like it got to be so insane to like go from that to like what it is now.
Yeah.
Now the last question is: if you had to pick someone that's not a loved one, who would it be?
Ooh. That's a tough one.
Super tough. You can take time to think about it. I'll cut out anything.
Yeah. Maybe I'm trying to think of something that like I didn't already mention because I want to say like
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
That's a good answer. It don't have to be, they don't have to be dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's say Tim Burton because I don't know, he's super dope.
You think he would be weird to talk to?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like
That's why, yeah.
kind of creepy. I think to talk to. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, well, those are good answers. I think that's all the questions I
Okay.
have. Now, take a second and promote all this shit that you have to promote.
Yeah.
Not shit. I feel bad when I say
No,
shit.
it's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got my hot sauce, Bazaaa Sauce. You could follow it on Instagram. And then I have my Etsy, and it's called Calabazaaa Co. It's got, I mean, it's mainly stickers, so.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I will put it all at the bottom of the description. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for
Pumped
having
about
me.
it. Okay, so everyone that's listening, I appreciate it as always. I'll call you right back on Instagram. Had a great giveaway. We gave away some maple syrup from last week. A lot of other good shit coming up. As usual, I'll call you right back across the board. Thanks for listening. As usual, I'll call you right back.